Welcome to WYCE's Community Close-Up, our weekly public affairs program produced in partnership with the Rapidian, our hyper-local news service here at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. Community Close-Up brings you a diverse perspective from community leaders throughout West Michigan. And this is WYCE Station Manager Phil Towery. In studio this week with Andy Johnston, Senior Vice President of Advocacy and Strategic Engagement for the Grand Rapids Chamber. Andy oversees the Chamber's public policy efforts, marketing, communications, and events covering their 2,500 plus members. He occasionally makes coffee and does quite a few other things. It is great to welcome you, Andy, into the studio. We've got a lot of ground to cover. First of all, thank you for being here.
Yeah, great to be here.
Everything we talk about is at grandrapids.org for the Grand Rapids Chamber website. I wanted to start off because we have not had you on the Community Close-Up program on WYC. Just kind of give us an overview of 2,500 members. We don't need to profile every one, but I know it's diverse. I know you guys have done an amazing job, you and your leadership team, at diversifying membership, really focusing on inclusion, and really trying to bring the Chamber into the 21st century and doing a really stellar job, I may say. I'm always impressed by the events you're holding, the content you're pushing out. You've got a great team. Now that I've said all that, there's no reason
what
to
else
talk
is there
membership,
to say?
right?
Yeah,
There's no reason to talk about membership. But seriously, I think people look at it and say, I've got social media. I'm well connected. Why do I need a Chamber membership? Andy Johnston.
That's great. Well, yeah, happy to talk about the Chamber. I've been here 20 years. They don't tell little kids you can work for a Chamber when you grow up, but they probably should, because it's really exciting to be at this intersection of business, government, and community, where a lot of amazing things happen. Mm-hmm. I gotta work with my marketing department. We're pushing almost 3,000 members now. We're about 2,900, and we have the largest companies, the biggest names, all the way down to startups. And why should somebody be a member of the Chamber when you can do kind of your own marketing, as you said? Because there really is strength in coming together and learning from each other. We are the largest business organization. That means we have the ability to convene people, connect, and then help support those relationships that are going to really catalyze your business. And your membership is also investing in the work we're doing, whether it's trying to end chronic homelessness, support housing growth, other things that create a pro-business growth mentality here in West Michigan.
Yeah, and it's also really important that you're surrounding yourself with people who've done the things you're trying to do, maybe made a lot of the mistakes you don't want to make,
right.
And learning from those people. And it's an investment, a Chamber membership, but it's also something that probably from a business tax filing standpoint is certainly something you could probably write off.
Well, the way I say it is, like, for the price of an iPhone or a little bit more than an iPhone, you're going to be able to be a Chamber member. And one of the Chamber myths is, well, two of them really. No, I don't work for the city. It's all private businesses that are members that fund our organization. And two, when your company's a member, you're also a member of the Chamber. So for those listening out there who might work for a company like Corewell or Founders or whatever company it may be, if your company is a member, you as an individual are also a member, so you can take advantage of our leadership programming, using our collaborative office space, which when we opened it in 2018, we weren't quite sure how that was going to work out, but it has really become this hub of activity in the Grand Rapids area. And we have people who, they have great offices, but they're in our office pretty much every day of the week because of the organic networking, the collisions that happen, the energy that's there. You're also more plugged into what's happening. With coming out of COVID, we've just seen really that need for people to have those in-person opportunities, and the Chamber's been happy to serve that role.
I did an interview on another radio station in, I think it was 2018, just before that place opened. Help our listeners here at WYCE understand about your new location. You've been there now. It's going to be 8 years in 2026.
Yeah,
it's pretty remarkable.
To think about that. Yeah.
But talk about that location in terms of location in downtown Grand Rapids. Where are you? And I'm so glad you mentioned membership benefits. If you do work for a big company, even a tool and die company that may be a member, you are a member yourself. You can take advantage of that, and you might want to walk into your supervisor's office and say, hey, I want to start taking advantage of this Grand Rapids Chamber stuff. But talk about the place in terms of a physical space. It really is an amazing place. I've been in there once or twice. Talk about it.
We're in the Calder Plaza building. Bank of America is right there, right across the street from DeVos Place, right next to the county building, right next to the 111 Lion building, the Fifth Third offices that's being converted from office into housing. So great spot in the center of the city. And the old offices, 80% of the floor plan was for staff, our offices. We totally flipped it on its head. The floor plan now is 80+% is for the members to utilize. Nobody has an office. We work with the members side by side. We have a work cafe set up. So exactly what it sounds like. It's set up kind of like a coffee shop. You can come in, drop in places, but you can also reserve rooms, boardrooms, larger meeting rooms. We had this assumption that a lot of our smaller companies might utilize it, but we see our bigger companies utilizing it for off-site retreats, strategic planning. We just had the whole Steelcase marketing and brand experience team in the office for a half-day session. And then you get individuals who use it. Speaking of Steelcase, there's an HR leader there who makes a point of trying to work out of the chamber offices one day a week. He read an article about how it's good to get out of your offices, get a fresh change of scenery, change up the routine.
Great point.
And when I mentioned that to some of other members of Steelcase, it's like, oh yeah, I've seen him on the virtual calls out of your office. So great benefit to mix things up, and we're so happy to invite members into our space.
You can learn more about membership at grandrapids.org. That's the Grand Rapids Chamber's website. And then every month, Andy, there are all kinds of events that members can take advantage of, really diverse, and not only for networking, but for education purposes. One of those is called First Friday Updates. Those happen on the first Friday of each month. What are those like?
Well, at the Chamber, we just call things what they are. We try to do that. But we do a First Friday Update with our government affairs team to have a discussion with the members. It's usually less than half an hour virtual call. What are we working on your behalf, either in local government or in the halls of Lansing, or maybe it's a federal issue? We might be bringing on a special guest speaker. Senate Majority Leader Brinks should be coming as our special guest to our First Friday call, which to kick off January will actually be a very special second Friday call to allow more people to attend that one.
Good. I'm glad you made that distinction. It is January 9th, not January 2nd.
We thought January 2nd we might have lower participation.
Yeah, I would think so.
But great way to stay connected, a complimentary benefit of chamber membership.
A lot of different things. There are breakfast opportunities with legislators. And just going back to the legislative updates and being aware of policies that are being debated or laws that are being passed in Lansing, you might have been disconnected from that. But once you're a business owner, you have to be engaged with that. You have to know what's happening. And that advocacy on behalf of the chamber, Andy, I know that's right in your wheelhouse. That is a really important thing because you break it down, make it understandable for how it's going to impact people at the entrepreneurial level, at the small business level right here in West Michigan. And it does impact business ownership and things like that. So,
yeah, for example, one of the things over the past year we worked a lot on was the Earned Sick Time Act. And first educating members that it was coming down the pike at them, having them react, seeing how it impacted their business, and then helping to communicate to lawmakers what the impacts were going to be to the business community. A long, long time ago, I was a legislative staffer, and I tell you the most effective advocates were business owners, business people in the trenches telling policymakers how the decisions they were going to make were going to impact them and provide those stories. It's an honor to represent the West Michigan business community and bring that voice to these policy discussions. What gets me, one of the reasons I get up every day is I just so believe in creating an environment where entrepreneurs and business people can succeed so that they can create more better paying jobs. And the more we can connect people with those better paying jobs, I mean, that's the hokey pokey. That's what it's all about, having a decent paying job so you can take care of your family and enjoy life. And really that's the mission of the chamber to focus on that, whether it's advancing the policies that have helped build the amphitheater and the soccer stadium, and all that is going to come next. It's an honor to do that and to help create those connections. So breakfast with legislators, just like First Friday Update, it's exactly what you think it is. We're having breakfast with legislators. It's your opportunity to hear from them, but also ask your questions and develop relationships with them.
As well. Andy Johnston with us from the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce, Vice President of Advocacy and Strategic Engagement here for the Grand Rapids Chamber. Leadership is another opportunity to really grow your skills as a business person, to develop leadership skills. Leadership Grand Rapids, you might have heard about that, known someone who's gone through the Leadership Grand Rapids classes, and maybe even a graduate. It is 40 years old in 2026.
Yeah, we're celebrating our 40th class. And Leadership Grand Rapids it's not so much about you developing your personal leadership, but it's helping to equip our community to develop our next generation of community trustees. So 40 classes of high impact leaders that have learned more about how they can affect positive change in our community, and the systems that make it up has been truly powerful. If you've talked to somebody who's been through Leadership Grand Rapids, you'll know that they were a member of the best class ever, just like the one before them and the one that comes after them. But we have now this great alumni network, so we're celebrating that, trying to create more awareness of Leadership Grand Rapids, but also the other professional development opportunities that the Chamber provides. As a leadership junkie, and you're not a member of the Chamber, you really need to be, because not only do we have a premier program like LGR, but our other trainings, whether it's women in leadership or lead up for new managers, have been very powerful.
Yeah, and also just a shout out to Latinx and Black business owners. It's great opportunities here. A lot of programming focused on minority business owners, and a big growing part of the focus for the Chamber. Grand Rapids has thankfully changed and diversified in a very positive way over the last, the 20 years you've been in your role.
Yeah.
It's been a dramatic change and a good change for the community, and just really something that a lot of people who are struggling to grow their businesses ought to take a look at.
They should, and I totally agree, Phil. Like, one of the things we need to do is, and that's one of the reasons I love working at the Chamber, is the opportunity to work on initiatives like this, where trying to help maybe underrepresented communities create more wealth generating power. That's generational impact. And so we have programming for minority businesses. We have a Minority Business Council. We have Elevate, which is focused on helping those entrepreneurs grow their business. We also have programming like Latina Connect, which, again, naming the things about what they are. We're helping Latinas Connect, develop their network, grow their leadership and business skills. And we have a Latina Connect coming up here on January 22nd. And we encourage people to register for that if they're looking for that. And also our LGBT community. We have our OutPro programming and events. That is critical. These kind of programs are critical when we're trying to grow West Michigan. We want to be a place where all talent can find a home and have and flourish.
Yeah, absolutely. You can learn more at grandrapids.org. Real quickly before we run out of time, Andy, A250 is on the horizon. This is the 250th birthday celebration of America, but it's localized. The Chamber's leading a lot of the effort for the GRA250. Did I get the acronym right?
GRA250. You can find out more at GRA250.com. You mentioned I've worked in government affairs a lot. The term civics really bothers me, because I think it kind of turns people off. All civics is how we work together to get stuff done in our community. How do we make it better? How do we build the park, right, that we think we need? How do we clean up the streets? How do we help educate our kids and our next generation better? And so we want to use this opportunity with the 250th signing of the Declaration of Independence to, how do we reinforce those founding principles? How do we recognize a history that has done so much and gotten so much wrong at the same time? To learn from that, that to create a stronger future. And if we can be a community that embraces these civic principles, work better together, we're going to outcompete and create more opportunity for everyone. So it's going to be themes throughout the year. We're going to be talking about our policy conference at our annual meeting on January 29th, all the way up to the 4th. We want the 4th to be a little bit more than fireworks and birthday cake. We'll have that too. But we also want to have discussions about, where we're going as a community. How can we make it better? What can everyone see themselves doing to play a part in that?
I love it. Let's show Washington how civics can work and actually how civics and government can live together in the same sentence. What a radical concept.
And in this day and age, I feel like we need it ever more, even more, and try to bring people together who disagree. They are our neighbors, right? And we are all, in this together, to quote a term we used a lot about 5 or 6 years ago. So
right. You want your neighborhood to thrive just as much as your neighbor does. Andy Johnston with us, Senior Vice President of Advocacy and Strategic Engagement for the Grand Rapids Chamber. GrandRapids.org is the website. That is our program for this week. Andy, thank you so much for joining us. He's joined us on WYCE's Community Close-Up, our weekly public affairs program, produced with the Rapidian here at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. I'm WYCE's station manager, Phil Tower. We'll catch you next week right here.